Welcome back to my channel. Let's dive into a scary horror story that I experienced. A story of a smiling man in the dark street of Chicago. This happened to me when I was 22 years old in Chicago. I was an idiot, college student, broke as hell, so I worked two jobs. One was as a cook at a diner, and the other was stocking produce for a grocery store. I had just transferred to a state school after doing 2 years at community college, and I was trying to make things work with basically no money and no time. I rented a tiny studio apartment that was barely bigger than a walk-in closet, and most nights I crashed without even taking my shoes off. My boss at the grocery store liked to work me extra on the weekends because apparently I was reliable, so I would get off work around 11:30 p.m. to midnight. Well, one night I got off work around 12:30 a.m. I had to walk about 35 minutes home because I didn't have a car. The streets were quiet, and the city felt both alive and lonely at the same time. I remember the cold air biting through my thin jacket as I hurried along the sidewalk, trying to stay warm. The glow of streetlights flickered overhead, casting long shadows on the pavement. I'd pass by the occasional late-night worker or fellow student, all of us trying to get through another long night. It was exhausting, but I didn't see any other way at the time. No money for a car, no ride home, just me in the city, pushing through the tiredness and the constant hustle to keep going. The walk home consisted of 2 blocks on a busy street lined with bars and restaurants, and then 2 blocks down a dark, nearly deserted, poorly lit alley. The alley was my favorite part because if I made it to the end of the alley, I could run the rest of the way home in the safety of semi-darkness. Strolling down the bustling street, I was whistling a He-Man tune when I spotted this guy busting a move and prancing back and forth on the sidewalk across the street from me. At first I thought he was drunk or maybe having some kind of seizure. The way he was moving, staggering and jerking like that, it didn't look natural. I paused for a second, unsure whether I should approach him or just keep my distance. He was dressed all in white, almost like he was a patient in a mental institution that had escaped. The clothes were loose and kind of hanging off him, and there was something about the way they reflected the streetlight that made the whole scene feel surreal, like it was part of a dream or a scene from a movie. He had his arms spread out and was kind of shuffling forward, but he wasn't really going anywhere. His feet barely left the ground, and his movements were slow, deliberate, almost like he was underwater. It was weird and creepy, the kind of thing that makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, even if you don't know why. I watched him for a moment longer, trying to decide what the hell was going on, but then I just kept walking. I figured if he needed help, someone else would deal with it, or maybe he wasn't really in trouble at all. Maybe it was just some kind of performance art or something. Well, when I got to the corner, I glanced back, and that's when everything changed. He stopped dancing, just went totally still, like someone hit a pause button. Then, without saying anything, without making a sound, he turned and started walking toward me. And when I say walking, I mean he was practically running. His strides were long and purposeful, eating up the distance between us with an unnatural speed that sent a prickle of unease down my spine. Now I'm thinking, great, a crazed killer or something. My heart gave a heavy thud against my ribs. My mind raced, picturing all the worst possibilities, and I start picking up my pace, trying to put some distance between us, my footsteps quickening on the pavement. He's still smiling. That unnerving, fixed grin didn't waver, didn't flicker even as he closed the gap. It just hung there, a disturbing punctuation mark on his rapid approach. When he gets close enough for me to see his face, I can tell he's young, maybe early 20s. The smile was wide, showing too many teeth, and his eyes seemed bright, almost too bright. But not holding any malice I could immediately read, just intensity. It didn't make me feel any better. By the time he reaches me, I'm jogging, my breath coming in shallow gasps, my muscles already starting to burn. Panic was a cold knot in my stomach. I look over my shoulder to see if he's following me, my pulse hammering in my ears. He is. He's right there, keeping pace, that smile still plastered across his face as if we were out for a pleasant afternoon stroll. The sight sent a jolt of pure adrenaline through me. I pick up my pace, and now I'm running, my lungs burning, my legs pumping frantically, ignoring the ache starting in my side. I don't look back again, afraid to confirm what I already knew, that he was right behind me, matching every step. He continues to smile the whole time while he's practically sprinting after me. That smile never flickered, never lessened. Even as the exertion must have been building, it was fixed, manic, impossible to read, making the situation even more terrifying. He was breathing heavily, his footsteps pounding right beside me, yet that grin remained, a constant, unsettling presence at my shoulder, and when he passes me, he yells, "You gotta go faster," or something like that. His voice was loud, strained from the running, but clear enough to penetrate the fog of panic clouding my senses. I don't remember exactly what he said because my brain blocked it out. It was too crazy, too nonsensical in the moment. Another piece of the terrifying puzzle that was this man. All I registered was the command, the mockery in his tone. I turned around abruptly, the sudden movement jarring, and started running back toward him, fueled by a surge of defiant rage that momentarily overshadowed my fear. What was this guy's problem? My mind screamed the question, was he on drugs? The speed, the smile, the nonsensical yell. It fit certain profiles I'd heard about. Did he want to fight? The challenge in his voice suggested as much. Why was he smiling? It wasn't friendly, not even really menacing in a conventional way. It was empty, challenging, utterly baffling. A cold dread washed over me, mixing with the hot anger. I chased him down the block, fueled by a terrifying cocktail of terror and fury. I wanted to catch him, to confront him, to make him stop smiling, to understand what the hell was going on. I wanted to hurt this guy, to make him feel something, anything, that wasn't whatever detached amusement he seemed to be experiencing. My lungs burned, my legs ached, but I pushed on, my eyes fixed on his retreating back. Around the corner and into the alley, I pursued him, not knowing what awaited us at the end of this bizarre, terrifying chase. I chased him down the block, around the corner and into the alley. Once we were in the alley, I slowed down and started walking again. He did too. I decided to break into a run again, but he matched my pace and continued to smile. I ran all the way to the end of the alley and he followed. Then I started to walk again. This time I tried to act nonchalant. I looked around to see if there were any cars on the street, and when I saw none, I broke into a sprint. He started running again and yelled, "Oh, faster!" Again. I picked up my pace, but I could feel my heart beating out of my chest. I glanced back over my shoulder and saw that he was almost upon me. I could see his hand balled up like he was going to punch me. His eyes were wide and crazy, and he was still smiling. That's what freaked me out the most. Why was he smiling? What did he want? Was he going to kill me? When I finally got home, I slammed the door behind me and locked it. I sat on the floor next to my bed and tried to catch my breath. I was scared shitless. I honestly believed that this guy wanted to kill me, and that I had barely escaped. I told myself that it was probably all in my head and that the guy probably didn't want to hurt me. I couldn't stop thinking about how close he had gotten, though. What if he had caught me in the alley? What if he had attacked me? Would I have been able to defend myself? Could I have defended myself? What would my family and friends say if I couldn't protect myself? How would they take the news of my untimely demise? What would my mom think? Would she blame herself? What about my dad? What would he do? For months afterwards, every time I walked home from work, I walked around the block so I wouldn't have to take the alley. I couldn't risk it. It would be different every time. The street was always busy when I walked past the bars and restaurants, but the alley was always dark and quiet, and I was always afraid that the same guy would jump out and attack me. But he never did. One day I was telling this story to a friend of mine, and he suggested that I post on Reddit to see if anyone else had seen this guy. I figured, why not? Maybe someone else had seen him, and maybe he was dangerous and I should report him to the police. I posted on Reddit, and within an hour I had a reply. Someone else had seen him dancing in the same spot across the street from me. He also mentioned that this guy was standing in the same spot for weeks, which explained why I saw him multiple times. But he also mentioned that the guy was known to frequent certain places in the city where people would go to meet up for some illicit substances. That's when it hit me. This guy wasn't stalking me. I was stalking him. He wasn't trying to attack me. I was trying to attack him. And that last comment really irked me. If he was out there dealing drugs and stuff, then why was he smiling? Wasn't he supposed to be scary and menacing? Why did he keep smiling? And then I realized he probably wasn't smiling at me. He was smiling at someone else. All those times I had seen him dancing in the street, he wasn't dancing for me. He was dancing for someone else. He wasn't running after me. He was running after someone else. He wasn't even trying to scare me. He was trying to scare someone else. To this day, I've never seen him again. But every time I see someone dancing in the street, or hear someone running behind me, I can't help but think that it might be him. Maybe he is still out there waiting for someone else to chase him down, or maybe he finally got caught by the cops and is rotting in jail right now. Who knows? All I know is that I never want to see him again. Hey, if you like this video, check out more stories about terrifying strangers on this playlist right here. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe for more scary stories. Thanks for watching.